Bibliophiles of the Internet. My name is Adriana, and today I'm here to tell you about all of the books that I've read that have LGBTQA+ characters or themes. Not only is this a topic that is very important to me, but I was inspired to do this video by two amazing booktubers, the first being Luce from Things Lucy Reads. Recently, she did an amazing and eloquent discussion about why it's important that we as reviewers denote when a book has LGBT+ characters. And she makes several compelling points on the topic, and I don't want to say anything else because she said it so well. I will link her video down below, and I highly encourage you all to watch it. And more recently, Sam from Thoughts on Tomes did an amazing response video in which she contributes to the conversation and also talks about some books that she's read that have LGBT+ characters or themes. So ever since seeing Luce's video, I've really been thinking about this a lot and thinking about how it's important to let the community know when there are LGBT+ characters or themes in a book, because you never know who might be searching for a character to identify with. And in her fantastic discussion video, Luce talks about how sometimes we as reviewers unintentionally erase LGBT+ characters and neglect to mention them when we're reviewing books. And I've definitely been guilty of unintentionally doing that myself. So today I'm here to right the wrongs, and I'm here to tell you about every single book that I've read up to date that has LGBTQ+ characters or themes, like I said at the very beginning. But before I get to that list, I do want to contribute to the conversation a little bit. I agree with some things that Sam said in her video about why sometimes she neglects to mention a character's sexuality, and that's because she doesn't want to spoil the book. I agree that in the past I have also done the same thing because I don't want to ruin the story or the romance for anybody who is going to experience it for the first time. But I kind of want to make an effort to change that because I don't feel like a character's sexuality should be a plot twist. And I think that another reason why in the past I have neglected to mention when there is an LGBT+ character in a story is because of ignorance. Just to clarify, not ignorance on my part, but because I'm afraid that sometimes someone who's watching my videos might be ignorant or prejudiced or hateful, and maybe they'll hear me denote that book as LGBT+ friendly, and they'll say, because of that reason, I'm not going to read that book. So I feel like sometimes if you don't mention that the characters are LGBT+, then maybe that will encourage someone who would normally be prejudiced against that book to pick it up, and who knows, maybe that could change their view. But again, I know that's a flimsy explanation, and like I said, I'm going to work towards changing this in the future. And the last thing I want to say before I get into this list is that sometimes, at least for myself personally, I don't like to denote whether there are LGBT characters in my books because I have a serious fear of mislabeling them. And that is a very real fear for me because, first of all, I hate labels. I think they are a very poor attempt to try and bring order to something that has no order. So usually I just feel really uncomfortable labeling a character, but I think it would be even worse to mislabel a character, because when you get into labels for sexuality, the list is infinite. There are so many that I have never even heard of, but that are totally valid. So the whole guessing game really scares me as well. But again, this is something I'm going to try and move forward from. So I think this preamble is long enough, and now let's get into the books. First, we have one of the best books I've ever read, and that is Aristotle and Dante Discover the Secrets of the Universe by Benjamin Alere Sáenz. This book has gay characters, and they do end up having a romance together. Everything I Never Told You by Celeste Ng. Not only is this book incredible, but one of the supporting characters is gay. The Raven Cycle by Maggie Stiefvater, specifically The Dream Thieves. In The Dream Thieves, it is revealed that one of the main characters is gay. Lola and the Boy Next Door by Stephanie Perkins. Of course, if you've read this book, then you know that Lola has two dads. Will Grayson by John Green and David Levithan. I read this a few years ago, so I don't remember everything, but I think there are multiple LGBT plus characters in this story. The Rat Queens comic series. One of the main characters in this story is a lesbian. My ultimate book, The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. This book is vital to my day-to-day existence, and the two main characters are gay. And as you all well know, I highly recommend this book. The Perks of Being a Wallflower by Stephen Chbosky. This is an infamous YA novel, and as many people know, one of the supporting characters, Patrick, is openly gay. The Song of Ice and Fire series by George R.R. Martin, specifically A Clash of Kings. This has two gay, romantically involved characters, Renly and Loris. The Darkest Part of the Forest by Holly Black. One of the main characters in this book, Ben, is gay and he falls in love with the fairy prince. Also, something more interesting in this book is that there could possibly be a bisexual character because the aforementioned fairy prince could possibly be bisexual, though of course he doesn't label himself. Winger by Andrew Smith. There is a gay supporting character in Winger, but I will say that I personally do not think that it's a very good representation at all. Poison Study by Maria V. Snyder. Even though I kind of hate this book and I think it's atrociously written, there is a supporting character in this story who is transgender. The Scott Pilgrim series by Brian Lee O'Malley. Scott's roommate Wallace is openly gay, and it's mentioned multiple times throughout the series. And also, I believe that a member of Scott's band is also gay, and that couple makes a cameo in Brian Lee O'Malley's other book, Seconds. Not to mention that one of Ramona Flowers' 7 Evil Exes is a girl. And moving on to books I don't physically own, there is the very popular Mortal Instruments and Infernal Devices series by Cassandra Clare. It's been a couple of years since I read these books, and they were not my favorite, so I didn't commit much to memory, so I can't remember if there are any lesbian characters, but I do know that there are gay characters in both of these series. More Than This by Patrick Ness. I'm a bit hazy on the details with this one as well, but I believe that the main character is gay. Anything written by David Levithan is definitely LGBT plus friendly. David Levithan is an author known for writing LGBT plus literature. And then I believe the last thing on my list is a webcomic, and that is Cucumber Quest by GGDG. Again, I don't want to mislabel any characters, but there are two female characters who have a crush on one another, and there's also another very interesting character who actually I think is not engendered. Again, I don't want to mislabel anybody. There are so many labels that I've never even heard of or that I don't know how to define, so I don't know whether to say if this character is androgynous or gender fluid or what, but they're definitely a very interesting character. So barring any books I accidentally forgot, those are all of the books I have read that have LGBTQA plus characters or themes. I hope you found this list helpful. I hope you found this discussion interesting, and please add to it in the comments down below and let me know what your thoughts are on denoting LGBTQA plus characters in your reviews. And also let me know in the comments down below if you have any LGBTQA plus books that you really love that you would recommend, because I definitely want to read more. But that's everything I had for this sort of discussion and recommendation hybrid video today. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope that you enjoyed it, and I will catch you on the flip side of the page. Bye.